simply want to talk about the breath. Okay. As we talk about the breath, this is going to be an interactive lecture, class, forum, workshop, if you will, whatever you want to call it. To begin with, I would like for us to do this exercise. We're going to just take a deep breath together. And what we're going to do it is, I'm going to say, 1, 2, 3, breathe. And breathe in through the nose, and release out through the mouth. Okay, so we're actually going to breathe on 5. 1, 2, 3, breathe, and breathe on 5. Okay. Now, before we actually do this breath, I would just like to ask everyone to take a moment just to get an idea of your feeling, how you're feeling at the moment. Emotionally, psychically, physically, just get a, stand with your body. Okay. Now that we've gotten the scan out of the way, let's just take a breath together. 1, 2, 3, breathe. Yes, just that simple. Now I'd just like to ask, did anyone notice a change in their feeling after they took the breath?
Brighter.
Brighter? Enlightened. Enlightened. Okay, let's write those things on the board here. Brighter. Enlightened. Okay, great.
Positive.
Positive. Okay. And this was just one breath. Okay. So what I would like to do is, throughout the course of the day, the topic, the lecture, the speaking, I'm going to say from time to time, I'm going to say breath check. When I say breath check, it's going to be breath check. 1, 2, 3, breathe. Yes, that's the breath check. Just to get an idea once at the end and see how you feel afterwards, and throughout, maybe you get an idea of that breath and what it's doing for you throughout the lecture. Okay. Also, as we begin, these are a few things just from just one breath. Okay. I'm going to add another aspect to this breath now. Okay. As I demonstrate how I use this breath, I was trained to use this breath at Howard University School of Music. I was a music major, and classically trained voice lessons. We had to do breathing exercises, and this was the breath that we just did. Is similar to the exercise that I had to do on a regular basis. The only difference is, in through the nose, out through the mouth, I would focus on the lower abdomen. Okay, making sure as I breathe in, it would expand. As I breathe out, the lower abdomen would contract, and we would call it diaphragmic breathing, or breathing from your diaphragm. Okay, because what actually happens is you breathe as your stomach expands. The diaphragm actually pushes down to allow more capacity for your lungs to fill up with air. Okay, then as you breathe out, the diaphragm would go up, causing a suction. So there's a kind of massage thing going on with the organs up and down, as well as you expand the stomach, and collapse the stomach to the backbone, expand it out. There's this give and take, flux and flow of the organs that way as well. So as we do a conscious breathing, we're interacting the lower abdomen, the diaphragm. Other things take place as well. So before I demonstrate how I use that breath and singing, I would like to sing a little spiritual. Reverend Dorita has been asking me, since I have that technique training, when will I share it in the class? And so, being that this is a class about the breath, I figure it's the perfect time to share how using that breath, how the technical training allowed me to, really enjoy, be more successful as far as I'm concerned with my singing, with the breath control, tonality, and things like that. Okay. So before I begin, I would like to do another breath check. This time, let's breathe in, make sure we expand the stomach and contract the stomach. Out breath. Okay. Breath check. 1, 2, 3. Breathe. And one more thing about this exercise, is sometimes I would lay on my back. My teacher would tell me to lay on the floor and put a telephone book on my stomach and breathe like that. You know, he even, when he answers the phone, he was an elder, in the 70s, but he's a well-respected performer. He's, you know, world renowned, because Howard like to bring the best in, you know, to especially in the fine arts department. So it was very well-renowned around the world. However, when he would answer the phone, he was, hello. And, you know, and every time I come in for my voice lesson, he would encourage me to take that breath, hello, how are you? And right before I speak, there would be a slight breath before I speak. So I'm actually will be speaking on the breath, because when you're singing, we'll actually be singing on the breath. Yes, question.
I don't know if you've heard, but also when you take a breath, before you inhale, a lot of people, experts say you can curl your tongue down near the root of your mouth, and that'll help you to breathe more from the after. So if instead of just really breathing, you will curl your tongue back, then inhale, then you exhale through the mouth.
Yes, yes, very well. Yes, thank you. Because that also, the roof of your mouth is like it creates, what's what I'm looking for? In meditation.
Chi?
Yeah, it connects the roof of your mouth behind the teeth is where your positive and your negative, right, meet. And so you're creating
A hollow
vortex kind of thing. Right.
Make the noise into your head and throughout the brain.
Yes, yes. Instead of doing that technique. We'll actually speak a little bit more about that later on, but yes, it's a very good example, very good point. Okay. So, with that said, just to give a brief demonstration of the Negro spiritual. This spiritual is entitled A City Called Heaven. I am a poor pilgrim of sorrow. I'm tossed in this wide world alone. No hope have I for tomorrow. I started to make heaven my home. Sometimes I'm tossed and driven, Lord. Sometimes I don't know where to roam. But I heard of a city called heaven, and I started to make it my home. My mother has reached that pure glory. My father still walking in sin. My brothers and sisters won't own me because I am trying to get in. Sometimes I'm tossed and driven, Lord. Sometimes I don't know where to roam. But I heard of a city called heaven. I've started to make it my home. Sometimes I'm tossed and driven, Lord. Sometimes I don't know
heaven, but I heard of a city called heaven. But I heard of a city called heaven, and I started to make it
That was very good. One part of the song, you said you don't know where to roam. I was just thinking you could roam where the buffaloes roam.
Yes, yes, thank you very much. And again, that was a demonstration of just using the breath. Yes. Excuse me. Yes. I was thinking because I have alkaline water in the back, and then I see Dr. Wright, and the thought came, because you have this tested. So all that took place when you had to know what the water.
Right.
Just how fast it was.
Right.
But because I was breathing with you and I just finished, I was in the moment, I was just aware of the thought process and says, well, let me just go say yes to the water. To share the slight pause as what's going on in here.
Exactly.
Just by being in the moment. So I would just like to write that on the board as well. Positive in the moment.
Yes, yes.
So there's another aspect of the breath, just by simply being conscious of the breath, it allows us to be more in the moment. Okay? And I would like to open up for any other suggestions or experiences that people say the breath has, just by simply being mindful of the breath has come about.
Calming.
Calming. Yes. Calming. Anything else?
Relaxation.
Relaxing. What's that?
Creative.
Creating
Yeah.
creative abilities. How about that?
Lightning. I mean, it makes you feel lighter, like you're releasing, like just
Lighter.
a little lighter.
Anything else?
Energized.
Energize.
Wholesome.
Wholesome. Okay, great, wonderful. Excellent. These are all excellent ways in which we've all have experienced how the breath can affect us. Now, let's just add this up here. Breath of life. Now, because these things are wonderful, I mean, they're, if we want to say positive and negative, they're maybe considered a more positive aspect of the breathing, okay? The reason why I say more positive because some of the negative aspects, because the breath can have adverse effects, meaning just the opposite of this. Meaning you will not feel brighter, you will feel darker, cloudy, you will not feel enlightened, but you will feel confused. You will not feel positive, but you will feel negative. You will not feel in the moment, but you will be someplace in the future, in the past, don't know where you are kind of thing. Where am I? Even sometimes having to come back and how did I get here? What street am I on?
Right.
Calming, the adverse effects would be non-calming. You would be excited, anxious. Relaxation, the same thing. It also can cause us to be non-creative, you know, because we can't think right, stifling. Again, instead of lighter, more dense. Instead of energized, we don't have no energy at all. Instead of wholesome, we feel separate and apart. So, right, that's the duality of the breath. Okay, but we're focusing on these aspects because these aspects help us to move into a direction to achieve our goals, in which most of us are going to become more brighter, light, and positive in the moment, all these things. Especially with those of us who are come here at ISC on a regular basis, as well as those of us who are students. Because here at ISC, the mission is to help raise the conscious awareness of humanity, to realize who we are as divine beings, our divine nature, and acknowledge the human nature, but more so even more so acknowledge the divine nature, because the two go hand in hand. And because most of the time in the world, they tend to focus on the human side. I'm only human, that's my human nature. I can't do that. What do you expect from me, kind of thing. Whereas here at ISC, we're saying, well, yes, that may be true on one hand. However, because of your divine nature, you can't say I'm going to rise above those things. Those things are not going to affect me in a certain way. Okay. And so these are the things, by using the breath, can help us to maintain that state, that higher state of awareness, by just understanding if we consciously focus on the breath, okay, and breathing. It will help us maintain our awareness. We're trying to do it here at ISC, and to be the light for the rest of humanity. Now, when we add the breath of life, what we're saying that there's a little bit deeper experience that we can use, that we can get from the breath. And that being because along with the breath, as we breathe in the oxygen, the air, whatever you want to call it, oxygen, air, there is something that is contained within the air, which we commonly call chi. Okay, and just so that we have a general idea, a foundation of what we mean when we say chi. We're speaking of that energy source. Western science has confirmed that, or they say that everything here is energy, the universe is energy. The energy. So what happens is, they say, okay, there's an atom, there's a neutron, there's an electron going around that atom, and there's space in between that electron and that nucleus of that atom. But, they're not sure it's empty space, whatever, or, why does this electron move around this thing? And they say the atom is the building block of everything that's manifested in the universe. So what we're saying is that from an esoteric point, or the conscious point, or the spiritual point, is that that energy that causes that electron to move around that nucleus of that atom is what we're referring to as chi. Okay, which is, can be considered the creative aspect of source. Okay, source is in its original undifferentiated state, right? It is passive. It is non-moving. It is neither male nor female. It just is. Because we consider that space between the electron and that atom. It's just is. And of course, that's the passive aspect of God, the divine. But when that passive aspect becomes active, the masculine part, it becomes the chi, which sustains everything. Okay, gives life to everything. So when we say the breath of life, what we're saying is that as we breathe the air into our bodies, okay, our bodies are so wonderfully and magnificently designed that we actually extract the chi that's contained within the air. Okay, so as we're breathing, as we're breathing, consciously breathing, we're consciously extracting the chi from the air. And this also gives us that connection to divine source, because we're constantly connected to that creative force, okay, to God, to the all. However, if our breathing is not, if we're not constantly breathing because of various emotions or tensions or armoring or things that causes us not to breathe like we should, in which the biggest thing would be fear, because all the emotion really comes back down to the fear. And what happens is a lot of times we will stop breathing because we don't like what we experience, what we see, what we're thinking. And subconsciously, we kind of think that if we stop breathing, we're stopping the pain, we're stopping feeling that thing which is causing us the pain. When in reality, we're actually cutting ourselves off from the divine source. So, when we speak of the breath of life, it is, we're constantly saying that with the breath, we can do anything in life. All of these things, especially the creative abilities. Okay, because we're saying we're a divine being, we should be able to create, okay, at will. Okay, we should be those qualities of our Father as a child of God, the same qualities my Father had, omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. I should possess some of those same qualities as well. And again, if we understand the breath and understand how it has an impact on the life, but not just life more abundantly, and then we can actually use this breath of life, to actually keep that connection to our divine. So not only do we experience these things, we also experience our divine nature. We come in contact and into and touch with our divine nature. Okay. Is there any questions so far? Well, let's just do a breath check. Breath check. 1, 2, 3, breathe. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So now we just talked a little bit about the breath. Talk a little bit about the breath of life and how, because of the chi that's infused in the breath, and because we're aware of that, the more correct, the more involved we become with our breathing to allow the full capacity of our lungs to be reached with the air. You know, and it's in a rhythm. You know, it's not stopping because, oh, something's going on, we got that flow going. We're actually getting tapped into the breath of life and that connectivity with the divine. Okay. Now, I would like to spend a little bit of time talking about breath of life training. Right, which I call BOLT, B-O-L-T, breath of life training. What it is, breath of life training, meditation. Initiation system. Now, what the breath of life training meditation initiation system is, it is a tool that came to me, my meditation and my seeking, my asking self, okay? Hey, what's next? And the reason why I had to ask self what's next, because many of you are aware that we now offer meditation during the week here at ISC, midday meditation. It was something that I started when I began to, volunteer my time in service to help fulfill the mission of ISC. Okay, and with that meditation, Tiffany, one of our students here at ISC as well, first year, second semester student, has become a regular student, a regular participant in the breath meditation during the week. And so, I was asking myself in my meditations, like, hey, wait a minute. We just can't, doing the same meditation every week. We can, but at a certain point, we have to do something else, go someplace else with this, okay? And what came to me was a system that one progresses from just being able to manifest these things on a consistent basis, all the way to realizing one's divinity, or becoming God realized or enlightened, as we say. And the reason why it came that heavy, because as Tiff and I have been meditating during the week, it came to us as we're students here at ISC. We look at it not some more than just us taking a 3-year curriculum in metaphysics to gain the information about God, the cosmos, universe, nature, thoughts, consciousness. That's wonderful information to have. But we take it to a step further, to its essence, and saying that we're actually in a rites of passage. We're in a 3-year rites of passage to go from adulthood to godhood. Okay? And so to go from adulthood to godhood, requires a discipline, a training, some type of initiation. Okay? And so based upon my experience in the past, at one point, one of my last jobs as a carrier when I was in DC, I quit that job and I was beginning to meditate on a daily basis. That was like my job. In the basement, I put a black trash bag over the only window in the place, so even in the daytime I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. I began to see light, light beings, as I call them, eyes over my eyes, those didn't matter. So I've had some years, I was touring around with meditation, cool. But now, when I came back and said, okay, well, what is it that we're going to do that's going to make this meditation that we do on a weekly basis different? What is it, And self was just like, okay, cool. You have everything you need. Okay, not only have I did the experiences, I came across other people who, like my brother, Master Aaron Motley, Breath Master, gave me some techniques and suggestions. come across different various books. And so through meditation, say, okay, cool, this is how we're gonna go from where we are to enlightenment, to reaching that place of, breaking the cycle of life, birth, and death. Life, birth, and death. Right, okay. So what is the breath of life, the Bolt meditation initiation system? It is a 3-stage system. There's a process that comes in 3 stages. The first stage is what we call awareness. Awareness. And in the awareness stage, what we do is we settle and strengthen. Right. Because basically everything that we just named here is kind of mastered or learn how to have these things consistently manifest in our daily lives. We're consistently brighter, feeling enlightened, yes, feeling positive in the moment, and we're calm, we're relaxed, and we'll be able to create whatever we want. Of course, lighter again, energized and wholesome, right? Because what the breath check that we do, the exercise that we've done, is actually one of the breaths in the first stage of meditation. There are actually 3 meditation exercises, 3 different techniques that makes stage 1. And the breathing exercise that we do together here is I call that the relaxing breath. Because all you're doing is using the breath to just relax. Okay? And the meditation is you're meditating on the breath. Just to, hey, when I take a deep breath, I get the feeling, I know it feels great. So let me sit down here and say, body, this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna breathe like that for a few minutes. I'm gonna watch you. I'm gonna watch you and make sure that you're breathing all right, just for a few minutes. So that when I'm not paying attention, because some things may come up and cause my attention to go elsewhere, you'll be trained in how to breathe, the proper way to breathe, to keep me relaxed. So in stage 1, we just have the relaxation breath. 2 other breaths that we use. One is called the other one's called the breath of fire, which is a pretty common breath. Those who may be familiar with meditation, where it's like you're laughing, but you're actually breathing and just, it's all down here. No tension nowhere else in the body. It's just down from right here. Breath of fire. And the other breath, this duality would be the breath of water. And the breath of fire, that's what it says, the breath of fire. But it has this purpose in that. Okay, the other breath is called the breath of water, which is a technique used by my brother Roger mentioned earlier, by you placing your tongue on the top of your mouth, and actually curl it back also. A little bit of variation, you curl it back. That way you're sure to get that tongue out the way. So as you're breathing in, you're taking an incredible amount of air into the system just by moving your tongue out the way. Then the releasing, you drop the jaw fully and you fully relax. So the breath of water is more of a technique that's designed to take the relaxing breath a step further. Not only breathing in through your nose and out your mouth, you're taking such an incredible amount of air in. The diaphragm and stomach is really situating the movements, and it's the same thing when you release out. So those 3 breaths make up really stage 1 in the awareness thing. And depending upon where someone is, we actually begin that as well. Because that's also the place where you want to get, when you begin to take fewer breaths. It's been said that most of us take on the average person breathe about 18 breaths per minute. Right? And the slower that you breathe, the more pauses that you take, intake and outtake, you're reducing the number of breaths per minute. And scientifically that has an effect. Again, Western science says that, that breathing has a correlation with the brain waves, and you go from, I forget, there's an alpha, delta, beta, the various states. And the slower and deeper that you're breathing, taking those pauses, right, allows your brain to reach those slower states of vibration, right? Again, towards the end, I like to call, there is in stage 3, right, which we'll get to, is what I like to call sleepwalking. Because ideally, most of us have heard or familiar with, when we go to sleep at night, we pass that rapid eye movement, REM sleep, we're not dreaming, and our consciousness actually returns back to the undifferentiated energetic source. And so the idea is to be awake while your consciousness is in that sleep state, but you're constantly doing things. So that's the level of peace you're looking to attain. That's why I call it sleepwalking. However, there's a process to get to that place because our goal is to get there on a consistent basis. Because the boat meditation initiation system is not anything new. I didn't create anything new. I just organize it in a way that works for me. Like I said, this is my tool. I'm just simply sharing the tool that I use because it may benefit someone else. And it came in such a way that it makes so much sense. And all of my experiences so far has confirmed that self is right on point again. So I'm like, yay, self. So I'm not looking to rush and jump ahead myself because I understand the importance of mastering as much as possible each stage of development and this initiation, okay? Because for one, you can't really advance fully if you don't have the foundation set because of the nature, and we'll see how that takes place as we go along. So what happens in the first stage in your awareness, and as you settle and strengthen, the first thing you do, you become aware of, your vibration. Because all you're doing is just sitting, breathing. So you become aware of your breath, how you're breathing. You become aware of your breathing. And again, these two really go hand in hand because you're breathing. Again, the slower you're breathing, the more deeply rhythmic your breathing are. Then, of course, your vibration changes. The brain waves slow down, your entire vibration just slows down, you become more calm. All these things begin to happen. Again, but when you settle your spirit, because that's what you're doing. Like when you focus on your breath, breathing like that, you're relaxing, you're settling your spirit, your energy, spirit. Right. So you're aware of your vibration, you're aware of your breathing. You're settling your spirit, calming it down. And you're strengthening relationship. Relationship, strengthen. Well, what relationship?
With the divine force.
Yes. Very good. With the divine force, because you're keeping that connection going. So you're strengthening that relationship because you're more connected. Okay? As well as you're also strengthening the relationship between your will and your energy. Because they're really two separate things. And the more you say, hey, I'm willing you, calm down, slow down. And the more it does about the breathing, it says, okay, I can learn how to mind you. Right. So you're strengthening that relationship as well. Okay? And again, these are the things that take place in level 1, stage 1, in the awareness stage, where you strengthen and you settle. Okay? Any questions about stage 1? Yes.
Can we go back to vibrational role? Can you go more into depth of vibration? Because we know that everything within the universe vibrates, and how that we should be very aware. Sometimes I can be going down the road, driving or walking, whatever, and I really feel that connection through vibration. I can tell just as good when I tap right into it.
Right.
It just amazing. Sometimes it's hard to fully explain it in full detail, but
Yes,
I
it is.
know it,
Yes. Right. And then you end it very well. You say something's hard to explain, you just know it because it's a feeling. It's a feeling that, it's not like you can say, hey, touch this, tell me what this feel like. Is it hot, cold, smooth, or what? Then someone else can come and touch it.
Right.
But they can't come and touch that you feel.
Exactly.
Right, and that's what you're speaking on, that's that vibration. We get so calm and relaxed, we feel something, and what we're feeling is a vibration, because everything is energy. We're feeling the vibration of energy. And the more sensitive that we are, right? And the more sensitive that we are, we can actually become to identify, which is actually, I'm going to write this on the board because this leads us into stage 2. Okay? And stage 2 is the identification stage. And what we do in the identification stage, we call home and we purify. Okay. Identification, back to the vibration. We identify the vibration. Meaning, and one of the ways we know that we're able to fully advance to stage 2 is because with our practice, we may not be here living in this 24/7, but when we're out doing something and we become mindful, hey, I'm not where I should be, and then get back there, and you can just, boom, immediately get your vibration back to that place that you was at home meditating. No matter, someone cut you off, someone you've been trying to avoid, all of a sudden pops up in front of you, and they going in. No matter what happens, if you're able to say, cool, okay, oh yeah, and you can't, that relationship is strengthened, boom, you're able to go back down and smooth out immediately. That's when you really know you're ready to take on the meditation techniques in stage 2. And all we're doing in stage 2, we're building upon what we did in stage 1. So those 3 basic foundational breaths, we would add on to those, add some techniques and things to those to get us to the identification stage. We're calling home and purifying.
So what does that mean exactly?
What?
Call home and purify.
Okay, great. What we're calling home is
Where is home?
home is where the heart is. And the heart is within. Literally, the heart is within. Home is within. The kingdom of heaven is within. Right. Right. As Reverend Greta mentioned, this that centering spot. But more specifically, when I say call home, and in this stage, we also become familiar with our energy system. Meaning that just like we have blood vessels that flows from head to toe, our blood travels, we have energy system. Our energy travels from head to toe. Not only does it travel from head to toe, it interacts, we give and receive energy from various points in our body. Also, our body has a natural circulation of energy once energy is flowing correctly. And our energy, our chi, our personal individual chi, which is even just like what they say, we have our fingertips that are unique to us. Our own life force, our own personal chi is as unique to us, or even more so, as our fingertips. And one of the regions within our physical body that can be considered a home for our energy will be that second chakra. Okay, it's considered in a lot of traditions as the storehouse of our energy. Okay, because from the second chakra standpoint, Venus, our sensual energy, this is the energy for procreating as well as recreating. Okay, our lust, our passions kind of thing, but the actual physical energy, the Big Bang Theory, the orgasmic experience of that energy, second chakra kind of thing. And from here, we can get the flow of our energy, the macrocosmic orbit. It helps to promote the rising of the Kundalini from the base chakra to the crown, to the top of the head. So a lot of things take place when we call our energy home, which is really saying, and what we're saying about call home, we have an idea what that home spot is, but we also identify or know that our energy is also attached to other things, other places, other experiences. For example, those things that happen in our lives, those experiences, the people that we meet, that just rubs us the wrong way. Their vibration is not a match for our vibration, and we kind of, take it personally, thinking this is the reality, and we feed that thing. So much to the point where we could be minding our own business, right? And someone can say something, remind us of something, and we can just immediately get sometimes to the point where it may not even be a conscious thing that someone says, but since those emotions are stored in our body, we're attached to, either unconscious, someone can say something, we'll see something, and our spirit recognize it, and it's just trained to just do what it does. It'll throw stuff
Like
up.
automatic recall.
Automatic recall. Or, as we're in our awareness stage, just focusing on our breath. We minding our own business. I'm focused on my breath. Now what this thought don't come in here, I told it don't come in here because I don't want to think about that. Because it gets me kind of, so stay away. But in this stage, it's going to happen. Because the 3 stages are interdependent, they're intertwined, they're not separate, they're not in a box, okay? Because we get glimpses of all 3 stages throughout the day anyway, okay? What this system does is say, let's put some type of, I need to put some type of order to this thing so that I can, use the laws on this plane. Okay, the law of this plane says that, you plant a seed, you nurture it, give it attention, give it energy, and, throughout the time, it will begin to do what it do, right? You just can't plant a seed in the ground and, for the most part, at this stage. Right? And that's what I have been doing as far as when I get some information, I'm like, oh, this is great. And because I got it and I understand it, I think that I'm there. But that's not the case. But anyway, back to the calling home aspect. Okay, question?
The second chakra is also called the sacral chakra, right?
Yes.
So sacral is almost like
Sacral chakra.
divinity. I mean, I'm just thinking,
Right.
when you say call home, and it says sacral, that's kind of like, calling God, calling on God, the God energy. Divine energy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so when we call them home, what we're doing is saying, those things that I said I don't want to think about no more, that I kind of stuck in various places, I say, stay away, I don't want to think about those people, places, events, and things. We begin to say, think about them on purpose. Why? Because we know how to settle our energy, okay? And plus there's some techniques in here that we use how to really settle and strengthen. So we can actually, those things that's wrong way, come on, I need you to come home because I need all my energy. Because in order for me to be a God, and to be to fully manifest my creative abilities, I can't have bits and pieces of myself around the world because I got feelings. I can't think about that person, but yeah, my energy is with that person, or event, whatever it may be, our energy is with that thing. But as we begin to call it home, okay, I'm bringing my energy home. I've got some proficiency in level 1. I can call them home now because I can remain cool, calm, and collected as I call these things home. And as I call these things home, I begin to purify because I'm strengthening the relationship between my will and my spirit, my energy. So I call these things home, and we're cool, calm, and collected. We begin to have a conversation. So it's like, okay, cool. Now that you're home, you was out there doing this, that, and the other, right? So you know that was wrong. Well, if you didn't know, you know it now. It's not a chastise, beat up type of thing, because you want to be gentle with yourself. Because the more gentle we are with ourselves and in love, then that transfers to the outside of everyone else. We understand that where they are in their energy, and cool. But back to us, because this system is all about self right now. Okay. So again, as we begin to purify, we're just simply having that conversation with spirit. As we calm, cool, calm, and collected. We call it home. And we say, okay, you was out there doing your thing. Let's try to look at things from this perspective. Okay. And what we're doing is, in the identification, like I said, we're identifying the vibration. Okay. As we call in home, right? We calling these things home. There's a vibration to that. Okay. Again, back to the vibration. Also, as we call home, what we're doing is we're identifying from where was the programming. Because we're all programmed. Most of us programmed from the outside. So in this stage, we begin to identify who's programming me, right? And not only that, we begin to identify, actually I should have said, we'll come back to it, identify with self. Because as we begin to bring our energy home and purifying it, we're purifying it from the consciousness of our higher self, our divine self. Right? So we're saying that I need to bring all my energy home. I need to have a conversation with my higher self, right? And so it knows what's going on, how to behave, things like that. Okay. Like I say, besides the additional techniques that is used in the identification stage, in the stage 2, that's the gist of what happens in stage 2. Any questions so far? Any more questions? Yes, appropriate person.
So you call home and purify. You identify with that vibration, whatever that thing is outside of yourself that's causing you to react in a way that you don't think it's really in your best interest.
Mm.
And then you look at where it came from.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of, in fact, from my own self, let's just do a breath check. 1, 2, 3, breathe. Yes, thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, because as I wrote down the where, that was kind of like, because at this identification stage, when you call home and purify, sometimes we don't really have to go looking from where it came from, in a sense, all the time, because when we're purifying, it's going to be coming automatically anyway. The conditions, the programs, that's just their nature. The more we cool, calm, the more we relax ourselves, the more it's going to come up. Okay. So more so, instead of identifying what caused this, like what was the root cause of this thing, like where it came, this is where I hesitate with that where, because it seems as though we want to go back and trace where did it come from, you know.
But if it came from a particular situation,
Right.
or a particular person,
Right.
then wouldn't that be relevant?
You say roots?
Or are you saying that you need to identify the energy itself
Right. Right.
and say, okay, now it's time for me to purify you and
Right. From my experience, as I'm in master level 2, it's not always, I may not always know what was it that, I should say, where did it come from? Because if I'm just purifying in general, right, just a general purification, it kind of burns up or almost like a spontaneous combustion type of thing. It's like, right, disintegrates, you know, because you are, as you purify, you just changing, you reprogram, you deprogramming and you're reprogramming. So the reason, it was because I looked at that Tropicana bottle, and that Tropicana bottle reminded me of the time I was in Florida, and this experiences in Florida when I was little, because this, that, and the other that happened. That may not be necessary to find out where at that point. It's just the fact that, hey, there's a vibration going on here. Let me center myself, identify with higher self, and just say, okay, this vibration is not resonating. Let me just,
Like an ID check.
yeah. Kind of, go ahead, you can have your.
Actually, we keep on saying where it actually came from.
Right.
You know, throughout all my research and study, it actually came from within your DNA. Because whatever is programmed in that DNA is going to actually come out. And your DNA actually came from your ancestors. So, you know, and a perfect example is, I have a child, well, 2 girls, and one girl looked identical to me. Both of them have my smarts. But the other one that don't look identical to me is really identical to me spirit-wise from the DNA. Because she has all of me. She just don't actually look like the outer appearance of Mike Wright. But if she walks in here and she start talking, you will know that that's my child. You know, so what I'm saying is that it's been handed down through generations, and what we have to do, we have to, you know, deprogram what we've been taught, you know, from this government, and reprogram and get connected and allow our DNA, once we start to reprogram, speak to us, as I would say, you know, our ancestors. Because lots of times, you know, if you learn more about the spirit world, you begin to really see that how your ancestors would come, help you out of this situation, that situation. Now, they might not speak to you directly the way that I'm speaking to you, but basically what I'm saying is that where it really came from is your DNA. You know, we have to get back to being the original person that you're supposed to be.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying? They have taken us away from that in every aspect they possibly can. And that's where it came from, your DNA. You know, without a DNA, it wouldn't be you. You know, everything operates and works around the DNA, and the only thing that eliminates, I mean, that even similar to your way of thinking or storing information is the computer. You know, and society is terrible, man. And the reason why, you know, I'm alluding to this is because they have decided that, you know, why do you think they have sperm banks? Hello, somebody. Why do you think they have sperm banks? They trying to create what they want.
Right.
I'm gonna leave that wrong. Okay. But everything goes back to the DNA.
Right, so what's in there?
Exactly.
It's in there. Like Franklin, it's in there.
It's in there.
So when we purify, we actually purify at the DNA level.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So
So when you purify the DNA level, you're eradicating whatever disruption that you find in your vibration.
yes, yes, right,
And then it don't matter where you are.
Exactly.
right, right.
It's almost like we develop little pockets of, I don't want to say negative energy, but just dis-ease.
Yes.
That we kind of like just, you know, like you say, zapping, or what do you call it?
It's like blockage.
Mm-hmm.
It's blocked.
It
You know,
is.
from one to another level. You
Right.
just keep on repeating that same thing until one day you say, wait a minute, enough is enough.
Right, right. Okay, and then also in the stage 2, we begin to, this is also more of a passive stage. And this is more of an active stage. And the reason why I say passive, because for the most part, you're just being aware, you know, which is an action, but you're not physically doing anything, you're just calming down, being aware. The reason why this is more active stage is because we call home and purify. As I mentioned, we have an energy system, and the energy has to flow, it can't be stagnated. So we incorporate within our meditation, Qigong, Tai Chi, which are a couple of variations of yoga, also a couple of variations of martial arts, okay, which they can be very deadly, you know, like the ninjutsu and the kung fu and all those things. But because they're taking the opposite of that side, they're actually excellent healers, okay? Because martial arts can either be deadly, can kill you, or it can enlighten you, depending upon how you use it. And Tai Chi and Qigong are a couple that just been specifically used to, you know, to bring into manifestation the positive aspects, the healing aspects of those things. So in the identification stage, we begin to get more active into various movements, you know, to allow the chi within us to flow, okay, to release those blockages. Because we have energy everywhere. You know, bringing it home, we're purifying it, let's get it to flow. And as it's flowing, we're now ready to move into stage 3. Okay. In which stage 3 is what you call the oneness. Right. And in the oneness stage, we harness and will. Okay. Harness. What we're saying is that we're harnessing all chi. Right? Because we've learned how to become aware in stage 1, just our breathing. our vibration. So we can become aware of anything, okay? Anything, which means that we can become aware of not just our vibration, but we also become aware of external vibration, okay? Even more specifically, more subtly, or more specifically, become aware of the subtle vibrations of what we would call the chi, okay? Because at this level, we understand that not only do we absorb the chi from our air that we breathe, okay? We also absorb the chi, well actually, excuse me, back to the identification stage. Within the Tai Chi and Qigong and the various movements that we learn about getting the, our energy to move and circulate, we also become identified with various ways to interact with the chi. Meaning that the balls of our feet, there are 2 acupressure points or chakra points, just like in the center of our hands, that send and receive energy, okay? And with certain techniques, as either we're standing, okay, or walking, we're actually drawing the chi in. And sitting, as long as our feet are connected to the earth, to the ground, we're actually able to withdraw the chi in from the earth, okay? All it just comes a matter of being cool, calm, and collected, and being mindful, being aware of what we're doing. Our attention and intention is united, so what we're doing, okay? So it creates that connectivity there. So in stage 3, what we're doing is we're saying, wow, all of my chi, I've brought my chi home, it's purified, I'm aware of that. Now I'm beginning to connect with cosmic chi that's all around us. I'm aware of that vibration, I know what it feels like. I'm harnessing, right? Now that I'm harnessing, my energy is about vibration, is pure. There's nothing really stopping me from merging with cosmic because I'm pure enough. So now things that I will shall manifest. So shall it be. Say it, so shall it be, because I'm connected. My chi, God, I and my Father are one. Christ consciousness, so we're talking about this level. Not, you know, so. And like I said, we get this, we experience this even in this stage. Okay, so it's not, like I say, it's not something that we have to wait until stage 3. This, like I said, this is what right, but by going through the proper stages and really focusing on each stage and what's being done, when we get here consciously, which could take a number of years, you know, could take a number of years to be honest with you, because I know for myself, I started this process. I've done most of this stuff, like with the meditations going on in this. I've done those meditations, but I cannot sustain those meditations. Nah, not ready. I know the technique, but it's a lot that goes on to prepare one's body to sustain that level of intensity. You know, that level of calmness where nothing moves you, because you got that, right. You feel this connection. And I've been damned if someone else has to move me from what I feel. Right. You know, and it just takes years and years and years of practice to get to that point, for the most part. Okay, it can be done for those of us who have that type of cold turkey faculty that is opened up within us. Okay, because that thing we say, can you? Oh, I just ain't no more. I just stopped that all of a sudden, right? That's a faculty within